I am enjoying the heck out of these books. Look, they are so good. They draw you in. I'm so enjoying these books. Oh, so please check out Star Trek Next Generation Friday's recaps. Please check out my If Then Friday videos. If you like this author, then maybe you like that author. And definitely, absolutely, go check out the Black Authors one. I worked so hard on that and gathered all those variety of books, and no one watched. YouTube didn't show it to anyone. So go back and try and search that. And also, last week's, or the week before's, If Then Time Travel. Actually, it was the day before yesterday, the other day. I found a book in my own If Then referral. In my own referral to you, I found a book series. It's short right now. There's only 5 books or so. I am enjoying the heck out of it. Oh, and please do not forget Flashback Monday. I work really hard on those. I've been doing over 60 books of video, trying to do 5 books historical, 5 books mystery, inspirational, sci-fi, contemporary romance, paranormal, erotica, and harlequin. And sometimes I get a little carried away with the regencies. So anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read book and talk about books. No special effects, no editing, no special anything over here. What you see is what you get. If you remember the old Roots Web adage. And don't forget my daily book reviews. We are currently doing Victoria Thompson's Gaslight series. Where is it? James Patterson's Cross. And I got the book upstairs because I'm reading it. J.R. Ward, Black Dagger Brotherhood. That's the to-be-read pile. I found this series. I am enjoying the heck out of this series. And I did a time thing because I did the If Then on Friday, and I went back in time and did the other book review the day before. So I did a murder in time, and I didn't print out my character list because now I know who the characters are. Although Julie does do an extensive amount of characters in her books. There's a tremendous amount of characters in her book. So you learn who the core are, and you can either just pay attention to the core, or you can sit there, and it takes extra time away from reading the book. And it was killing me because I wanted to pay attention and get the facts right and follow the book and take all these notes, but it was stretching out my read time, and I just wanted to go with it. I am enjoying the heck out of these. So, she is an FBI person in 2015. She's thoroughly trained in weapons and computers and cyber stuff, and she was on this mission in 2015, and it went 6 ways to Sunday, and she ended up in the hospital, and one of the bad guys got escaped or got a deal. And so she decided it was her mission to pursue him and stop him herself. And she ended up in this castle in London. They were doing a reenactment of a dinner party. All the guests, all the servants, everybody was going to be in authentic costume. And she went to this stairway and she experienced a vortex, and she ended up in, I think, 1814 England, a murder in time. And she she goes in and she says she's a lady's maid, and she goes to do lady's maid stuff, and she doesn't know how to do hair. She doesn't know how to do any lady's maid type stuff. They demoted a kitchen, but then she gets involved with a murder investigation, and then she gets promoted to companion to Lady Rebecca. Lady Rebecca likes her a lot. She's the Duke's sister. She ends up with a Duke and a Marquise, and she ends up solving this murder mystery. And the Marquise kind of falls in love with her, but he was messing around with Lady Dover. So she's trying to get back. She keeps going into the hallway, the secret passageway, every full moon thing, and it's not working. So she's still in London. And then we go for A Twist in Time, Book 2. Please check out my enthusiastic review for Murder in Time. I am enjoying the heck out of these books. And I want you to be warned, spoilers, 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 spoilers. I might even do a 5-minute second thing. I'm thinking of doing another thing. But anyways, so I went right from this one to this one because I just had to know what happened. And because this one ended with her modern peeps thinking that she may have killed the guy. She didn't kill the guy. Somebody else got there first, and then they tried to kill her, and she went through the vortex thing, and she ended up in London. And she's trying not to mess up the space-time continuum by revealing too much information and all that kind of stuff. And as you know, if you're a follower of my channel, I love to share. I love to share this story. I think, what was it? Rosemary Simpson. I think that's the author. You'll have to go. I just read one of her books a little while ago. There's a couple of people that I read, and these ladies were in specific circumstances, and they ended up setting up their own investigations. Inquiring Women or something like that. I think it's Rosemary Simpson. So anyway, I'm thinking Kendra should do something like that. Set up her own little investigation or go work with Bow Street because she's spending so much time with Sam Kelly. In other books, the girl ends up romancing with the Bow Street guy. But in this book, she might be romancing with the Marquise, but she's not sure. And due to her, we'll get to that later. So they're hanging out at the castle out in the country, and they get a note saying that Alec, the Marquise, the nephew of the Duke, he's under suspicion of murder of the Lady Dover. So they rush. Kendra and the Duke rush into London. And now the Duke's got this new thing. He's trying to decide that Kendra is spending all this time with males and she's unmarried. And London has they have all these rules in the town. And she can't be spending all this time with men and she's unmarried and all this kind of stuff. So the Duke decides that she'll be his ward, that he was friends with some guy and the guy died over in America. So that's where Kendra came from. And, people don't believe him, but he's a Duke, so they have to believe him, and they just all right, take it at face value. But they're starting to question this woman. She does so much. She's just very blunt. She's an American. She's very, very blunt. She's American for 2015. She's so blunt in her questioning, and she still believes in her head that she's an FBI agent and that she's a woman. I keep hoping she'll go to a modiste and go, could you get some cotton? Because they've got, the ladies wear all these silks and these fripperies. And I'm sitting there going, find somebody that's got some cotton and make yourself a pair of jeans. And she goes, chocolate hasn't even been invented yet. A candy bar hasn't even been invented yet. Oh, good grief. And, the one thing about all this time traveling is that there's no Tylenol, there's no Motrin, there's no ladies' delicate from the store for those monthly type situations. There's no drugs. All they've got is Lodrum. So, I mean, you got to have that Motrin, you got to have that Tylenol for those headaches. What about the allergy pills? And also, she's got to deal with the chamber pot. Oh, good grief. Could you imagine? And the heat. No central air, no central heating. Could you survive? Could you go back and survive? Of course, those of you who watched Survivor, those people could survive. And they got to use flint. There's not even matches yet. There's not even candlelight yet. And London is still in the infancy of their Bow Street stuff. So Kendra is the Duke is the Albert Rutherford, although we never really ever referred to him as Albert. It's usually Rutherford or the Duke of Aldridge. And he's going to make her his ward for her own protection. And his sister, Lady Carol Atwood, doesn't like it, but Rebecca does, his other sister. So Kendra, they're talking about getting Kendra situated with clothes and other fripperies of the time. She's going to need this, she's going to be that. They wanted to learn to dance, etc. And it just cracks me up. The Countess ignored his sarcasm. If you insist on turning this American into a family connection, I shall do what I can do to assist. That aroused Kendra enough to break her silence. What do you mean? What I mean, Miss Donovan, is that I can no longer overlook your shocking lack of social graces. I shall do my duty to my family by giving you town polish. I shall polish you until you shine. Do you even know how to dance? I do not recall seeing you on the dance floor during the house party. No. Then I shall engage a dancing partner for you, dancing master for you. Oh my God. And you shall stop this profanity at once. Do you think I have failed to notice your blasphemy and your utter lack of decorum? I am not Eliza Doolittle, she screams. I love it. Do you know who Eliza Doolittle is? Are you familiar with Eliza Doolittle? You can go Google it. But it was a really good movie about this guy who takes this chick and he reforms her. Think of very, very early 1940s, 1950s. I don't think it was 60s. I don't think it was that. It could have been 70s too. But an early Pretty Woman. This rich guy takes this chick and he conforms her, teaches her how to talk, teaches her how to dress, teaches her how to do everything according to society's rules of the tone. And it's just so cool. So they get the letter from London saying that Alex has been accused of murder. So Kendra and the Duke go to the London, and on the process, she accidentally divulges to him that we do fly to the moon occasionally. Really, and he's trying to get some other information out of her, and she's trying not to wreck the time continuum and spoil stuff. So they get to the house of the murderer, the victim's house, Lady Dover's house, and the Bow Street runners and everybody's there. And after they dismiss for the night, Kendra wants to go back the next day to check out some of the stuff and check out the crime scene again. And when they get there, the two guys from Bow Street, who were supposedly watching the house all night and looking at it, and they never took their eyes off of it. Well, the house was totally cleaned out. People went in and they cleaned the entire house out, and these idiots didn't see anything. So then they start their investigation. Miss Dover Alec had been seeing her, but they broke it off like a month ago, and she was seeing other men. That is divulged throughout the book. They investigate all the other men involved, all the other families. They go to all the parties. Kendra uses the Duke's seniority or influence or whatever a Duke has to do all the questioning. She's really annoyed. She wants her FBI badge. She wants to be able to show it and ask questions of the suspects. And she's using all these terminology that nobody understands. Then they discover that Lady Dover was with child. And also a big, huge thing that one of the people that she was having an affair with was a married man, a very wealthy married man. And she kind of sort of, I don't know if it was blackmail or encouraged or whatever, but he gave her a family heirloom that the entire world knew was a family heirloom, and she wore it to the theater in front of his wife, who goes ballistic. Privately, primly, properly ballistic. And the whole world knows that he gave it to the mistress, and and it just blows up. And that's when they decide, this one person decides that they need the necklace back, and they go to her, and she laughs in their face, and she's all on airs, and she's all in seventh heaven, and then she gets killed, and she gets killed very brutally. So they really continue this investigation. At one point, Alec kisses Kendra in public. At the same time, they're accosted by two guys that take him to a mobster type situation, and Kendra saves them with her modernness, and so he not before Alec gets beat up just a little bit, some injured ribs and face and stuff like that, but he heals. But they tell their story. Alec was held to his own, but the other guy was bigger than a house and was Bear. Rumor has it he fought a bear once. After seeing him, I'm inclined to believe the story. Dear heaven, how did you manage to escape? Kendra smiled. You might say I reminded Bear of what he holds most dear, but it was clear Lady Dover was a close second. Apparently, this guy Bear was having a very, very close relationship with Lady Dover, and nobody else knew about it. It was in secret. So he gives them, they negotiate, he lets them go, and they negotiate 2 weeks to do the investigation. Otherwise, he wants to kill Alec as revenge for Lady Dover's death, but that doesn't happen. She ends up clearing that up. But I didn't know in the Tunis, well, actually it's been mentioned in several other books by several other authors. If you read Regency books, if you read Susan Enoch, if you read Julia Quinn, if you read Mary Balo or Victoria Alexander or any of those, all the ones that revolve around the Ton, they talk about the cut. You've heard about the cut. Oh goodness no, the cut indirect is when you keep your eyes on the same level as the offending party, but you pretend you do not see them. Much more offensive, the cut sublime is when you raise your eyes to the heavens. She demonstrates by flicking her gaze melodramatically towards the ceiling. She lowered her eyes back to Kendra. Do you comprehend the difference, my dear? There is also the cut inferno, where you lower your gaze to the floor. It's much more effective with gentlemen than ladies, though since they cannot pretend to brush a smudge from their boots, quite impossible for a lady to do with any decorum. Kendra stared at the other woman and again thought how ridiculous humans could be at times. And she's like, I heard Lady St. James say, I heard that Lady Frances gave Lady Dover the direct cut. I did not witness the insult myself, mind you, still I had no reason to doubt it. I was told that Lady Dover was livid, absolutely livid. Well, ha ha. Then they're going to go to a ball to do more questioning. Kendra is doing so much questioning. She's questioning everybody at every ball, at every party, at everything. She's doing all this stuff, and she's using the Duke as cover. So they go to all these different parties, and I really think that Kendra should become a Bow Street runner or do private investigations or something. But she's still determined to get back to 2015. And I'm afraid she doesn't realize that they think that she killed that guy, and that if she goes back to 2015, she might be arrested and sent to prison. So I wanted to see Like Isabella, Louisa had dark brown hair and hazel eyes. Unfortunately, that's where the resemblance ended. Loose side curls framed a pale, plain face dominated by like a beak-like nose and receding chin. "Good evening, Lady Louisa," Rebecca said. "May I introduce Miss Donovan? She's from America, and she is the ward of the Duke of Aldridge." Both pairs of hazel eyes swung to inspect Kendra like an exotic animal at a petting zoo. "An American. How very interesting. How long have you been in England, Miss Donovan?" Despite her misgivings, Kendra gave an abbreviated version of the cover story that the Duke had invented. Lady Isabella and Louisa accepted it without blinking. "You are fortunate to have the Duke of Aldris as your benefactor. Will you ever return to America then?" "I wish I knew the answer," Kendra thought. "I'm here for now," she says. It's just, Lady Isabella raised her eyebrows. "Certainly, Lady Rebecca, you surely cannot side with the position of the younger Mr. Pitt, who would actually allow the Papists to hold position of power. Their allegiance will always be to the Pope, not to the Crown. Mr. Cedric says if we ever allow Catholics to own land or to have voice in government, we should find ourselves in the middle of a civil war." Okay. Alright, that wasn't the passage I was looking for. But anyways, uh, she does more investigation, and like I said, I really think she should do some ghost reading. So then she meets with the Duke and Duke of Western, one of her suspects. She does some more questioning. Um, Sam Kelly goes and finds, apparently Miss Dover was not who she said she was. She had another identity, and they discover her whole secret life, her whole secret origins. They also discover she had another house where she was rendezvousing with other people. So they go through all of that, and they spend some time at Madame Gaudet's, and I'm not remember why I wanted to read this, but I wanted to read this, so I shall look at it. I enjoy sharing these books with you because I enjoy these books. Oh, Madame Gaudet is the modiste. Don't concern yourself, Miss Donovan. Rebecca deposited the packages she was carrying on the bed. "Why don't you give it to your lady's maid? This is what's usually done, you know. I gave my old dresses to my maid, of course. Mary has to alter them considerably since she is shorter than I, but she's a skilled seamstress." Miss Cooper wouldn't even have to alter the cloak, Kendra realized. The lady's maid arrived in time later to help unpack the boxes. And it's Kendra has a problem with the fact that that servants will accept hand-me-downs, and that it's expected and it's appreciated and it's thought as a privilege. And she's not happy with that. She's doesn't understand the mental thinking of the servants and how they feel grateful to be in that type of position. Whereas nowadays, you'd be like a professor, or a teacher, or librarian, or a field. You would not, I'm not, don't want to say, maybe you would feel privileged to be a servant or maid to a duke or duchess. But I'm thinking, if you were gymnastics, or if you were a scholar, or if you were a teacher, professor, or a lawyer, or a doctor, those would have more prestigious in my mind than a maid. But everyone is entitled to make a living as how they can make a living. It all depends on your circumstances and your skill level and that type of situation. And you should be proud of any job you do because you have a job and you went out and got the job and you put the effort into it. So, and she feels bad about giving the maid her coat and about the fact that the maid is so happy to get her coat. But it also comes with serious consequences that I won't divulge. But there's also a carriage accident later on, and Kendra is sitting there thinking about the fact that if they had had security cameras in the intersection, they would have had the accident on film. I did want to read this one part, and I've gone past it now. I guess I didn't write it down. I thought I wrote it down. But, darn it. She talks to the Duke about, he mentions to her that he was writing to this guy, and Kendra accidentally goes, well, sir so-and-so, and he goes, he gets knighted in the future, and she's like, oops, well, don't tell him. And then he's talking about this other guy, and he also has success in not what he's currently doing, but in a future endeavor. And Kendra's like, don't tell him that either. Well, she doesn't tell him what the actual endeavor is. But I'm kind of annoyed that I can't find that page. But I really am enjoying the heck out of these books. I really am. And I hope that you will join me for the next ones. I hope you will also join me for the Black Dagger Brotherhood books and for Flashback Monday. You'll have to read the book to see if she clears Alec's name and who the actual murderer is, because Julie is very successful, very good, most excellent in pointing the finger at all these different suspects. Seriously, she does a really good, excellent, convincing job of giving people a motive and having Kendra clear them of the crime one at a time. And she does it so meticulously, and it's so good. I really am enjoying the heck out of these books. So please go check out my previous podcast, A Murder in Time. There's no mention of the future situation in this book, so we'll see what happens there. A Twist in Time. And please look forward to Caught in Time, Betrayal in Time, and Shadows in Time. And I'm going to go look to see if there's more out there, because I am really enjoying the heck out of these books. So I hope you will like and subscribe my channel and see and read the books to find out who really killed Lady Dover. And there's 2 other murders in the book, so you'll have to see who they are and what their relationship is to Lady Dover, if they have one to Lady Dover, and why they killed her. Kendra is getting a good relationship with Lady Rebecca and the Duke of Aldrich and Alec, and she has some intimate feelings with Alec, and she also gives him a resolution that we knew in this one. It was no news, but it was news to the characters. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. Darn it. It was important. But she's learning to adjust to this time frame. I'm trying to think. I lost that thought. It's gonna drive me crazy. The minute I stop video, it's gonna drive me bonkers. But she's got some issues she's got to work through. So you'll have to read the books to find out who killed the other ladies and what their relationship or lack of relationship to the murder, and what they were trying to hide and what they were trying to do, and who kills them. It's a really good book. Julie McElwain does these are really awesome books. They are really awesome. Oh, and Kendra saves a life by I was trying to think of, there's a word for it, CPR. She performs CPR on a person and saves their life. And that's something, I have to look that up to see when CPR was invented, when they discovered how to do that. but she saves a person's life with the CPR, and it works out great. So we'll see what happens. So please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.